Alright everyone, it's time once again to talk about alternative technology, alt tech, 3 sites that I happen to use. Links in the description. You should join me on all 3, or you can sort of pick and choose. Like, if you like Twitter's format, you'll like Gab. Gab is the free speech version of Twitter. It gets called like the alt-right version, but that's clearly not the case. I'm one of the biggest users there. I'm a libertarian, so I don't know what they're talking about. Also Minds, which is sort of like a Facebook-style site, but it has additional functionality. It's similar to DTube. I'm on there as well, but Minds is more user-friendly. It uses a token system, built-in sort of a sub-cryptocurrency system. At the moment, you can't trade the tokens for real money or anything like that, although I suppose you could, like, arrange with someone in a PM to do something like that. Like, hey, you transfer me some Bitcoin, I'll transfer you these tokens or something. I suppose you could do that. I never have, though. In Boost Posts, you can upload videos there as well. I've got all of my literary videos there. I've begun uploading them all. In the future, I'll upload all the general occult content as well, and probably like the garden, the music, stuff like that. Everything except for the daily political uploads, which is sort of what I've done on other sites too. You can do blog posting, have a blog style post there. I finally figured out how to do that, by the way. It's a good site, has a lot of users. It's a little bit less edgy than maybe a Gab. And then there's also a link to Bitchute, which is basically a free speech P2P style, highly innovative version of like a YouTube. I wouldn't compare it totally, and they just changed a little bit about the format and made it a little bit more attractive, which I actually enjoy. I think the format's a little bit better now than it was. Basically, the only bitch I have about that site is the search function. Like, the search function is a little bit primitive. They need to be able to have if you spell a word wrong, like one letter, there should be results there, whereas unless there's an exact match, you don't find anything, which throttles, people finding someone like me with a large and complex username. So those 3 definitely are the big 3 that I use. Again, I also use Steemit/DTube for video hosting, essentially. Subscribestar, which is basically a free speech version of Patreon. I use some of these others. I accept crypto and in small amounts and so forth. And the reason why people should use these, like about a little less than 10% of people that follow me here. I think it's like 10% are on Bitchute as well. I've got almost 35,000 people following me there, which is I'm the #1 user by subscriptions and views, I think, there at the moment. On Gab, it's like 24,000 people. It's like 28,000 on Minds. So like 10% or a bit less than 10%. I'd like to push that a lot higher for several reasons. Number 1, there's no longer any specific guarantee that on a given day a site like Twitter won't go MySpace mode and begin going into a nosedive so fast that there's no opportunity for any alternative to be quickly built and for everything to be migrated. If that were to happen, of course, everyone would just start using Gab, I think. It makes sense. It's the only real viable alternative. There's one that Candace Owens talked about a while ago. I think Malnu got on it or something. I wasn't intrigued. I prefer Gab. Gab does a lot of crypto stuff now as well. There's no guarantee Facebook's around in 5 years, but there's always Minds.com. And these sites also, they're more communicative, generally speaking, than the older guard of tech that got too big for its britches and started kicking people off and acting like a god. They're interesting, and also you can find some of that edgy content that really was the hallmark of the earlier wave of the internet, before things got more censored. Back when it was the Wild West internet, I thought it was quite fun. Now they just say, think of the children, we have to ban everything that's funny. Like a comedy sketch from 50 years ago. Wow, he said a bad word, we're going to have to kick him off. Literally. I can't wait for them to start taking Howard Stern clips down as well. Oh my god, MTV, Beavis and Butthead is sexist and racist and homophobic. Can't allow it on there. They said the R word too. It's gonna be funny. Alt tech is where it's at. It is growing. Lie number 1 about it is that it's not viable, and I've heard so many people, like especially with Bitchute, they compare it to VidMe. VidMe, of course, was a YouTube alternative, heavily billed like 3 years ago. It collapsed, but it never innovated anything. And it shied away from politics entirely. It literally, like, the category wasn't allowed to trend or be on the front page at all. They said, fuck it, because all the edgy political people got to VidMe. No, what happened is that they ran into the red because they didn't innovate. All it was a Reddit-style YouTube. That's literally all it was. It wasn't like Bitchute uses P2P. They're going to be having a crypto-based sort of donation and monetization system. They're innovating. Gab is currently working on an insane project. It sounds insane. It probably would work. I imagine it'd be quite a popular, where it will be like you use this application and any website you go to, there will be a separate section with Gab sponsored comments. So that, like, you know how a lot of people, they shut off comments on like their legacy media outlets and stuff, like like news sites. Not allowed to comment. Comments are closed in this article. Not anymore. You'll be able to comment, and then people will use Gab. They'll be able to see what people really think. Very, very interesting idea. And it sounds vaguely familiar to some projects that were like back in the 2008 or something era that sort of fell through. I think it's a good idea. I can't remember the name. There was one that I used that you could press a button, take you to a random site, and people could like add pages to it and shit, and then sort of tag them. Can't for the life of me remember what it was called. It was pretty good for a while. There were all sorts of weird things you could find there. But then there was stuff that was like, you know, crazy. So it's like, you know, after a while it gets kind of boring. And then a lot of people spamming their own like their YouTube pages and stuff on there, or their shitty blogs. And it's like, oh, the dog blog. It's 10 pictures of your dog. Updated last in 2004. Wonderful. Why is this here? And then Minds is innovating as well. And I believe Ottman explicitly mentioned that the current video limit, like the length limit for uploads, will be in the future increased. I would like it if they would introduce a system where you just boost it and it gives you like you give it 1,000, you use up 1,000 Minds points and you can boost the video, make it longer. Something like that I think would be fair. I mean, if it's taking up more area on your website, more bandwidth, serve it out, then yeah, you should probably pay something for that. Use the Minds tokens built right into the site. It just makes sense. I like these sites. I use them all regularly. I think I use Minds for regular posting the most. Everything that I do is automatically posted to Bitchute. So, I mean, if you're a content creator and you upload a lot, Bitchute, it's no muss, no fuss. You just have to have it arranged. You know, I think you'd have to contact them, I believe, and get set up for automatic uploads. You don't even have to manually upload. It's great compared to like on Dailymotion. I have to go there and, you know, do it manually. It's a little bit more difficult. By the way, I am on Dailymotion. No link in the description, but just for what it's worth, for the 1,400 people that are actually using it, I wonder how many active users they have. It's supposedly it's like tens of millions of daily active users. I'm not 100% sure that I believe that, unless there's a lot of francophone content on there that I just, you know, I don't regularly search for stuff in France. So I suppose that's about all. Peace out.